She was once the only college student in the village, but now, because she's still single, she faces cold stares from her entire family. Her eldest sister even bluntly said, "Not getting married should be a crime."
不结婚判刑是吧？
不结婚可不就是判刑？不结婚再幸福，他也不叫幸福。
The woman's name is Qiu Huamei. She is 34 years old this year, and she is the youngest of 5 sisters. She is the only one in the family who got into a prestigious university through her own efforts, and the only one who stayed in Beijing to work as a high-level white-collar professional at a law firm. Qiu Huamei is usually very self-disciplined. Besides exercising regularly, she also does some skincare occasionally to make herself look a bit younger. In the fast-paced city of Beijing, bars became her only way to ease the loneliness. There, Qiu Huamei doesn't have to think about work, and no one is urging her to get married. The energetic music lets her forget everything. But once she returns to her hometown in Shandong, Qiu Huamei is just another unmarried leftover woman at 34. Although her mother is happy to see her come home, every time she returns, it doesn't take long before someone brings up her marriage problem.
婚姻这方面，你个人这有到外头人一问，哎呀，我都没法说。
Facing her father's words, Qiu Huamei didn't seem too anxious, brushing it off with a laugh. But in such a big family, it's never just one person you have to deal with. Qiu Huamei's second and third sisters were also quite concerned about this issue. And with the eldest sister's aggressive and exaggerated tone, Qiu Huamei started to lose her composure. Facing the verge of breakdown, her eldest sister still didn't let her off the hook. Then she brought up their grandmother. Because she hadn't gotten married, their grandmother was being gossiped about in the village. Their father, too, couldn't hold his head up in the village because of her. Facing the pressure from her family, Qiu Huamei was deeply hurt. She didn't know what she had done wrong. She just wanted to leave as soon as possible. The next day, Qiu Huamei got on the bus back to Beijing. Maybe she, too, started to wonder if she really should get married. A few days later, perhaps affected by her eldest sister's words, Qiu Huamei actually took the initiative to contact a matchmaking agency to start blind dating. But maybe because it was her first time, Qiu Huamei was quite confident and had relatively high standards. After hearing her requirements, the matchmaker was a bit surprised, and then told her the truth of the matchmaking market.
首先不是美女，第二个年龄真的很大了，所以你就不要想，哎呦，我现在状态很好，哎，我觉得我自己觉得很年轻，这都是这自欺欺人的，都是你自己觉得的。如果你现在谈恋爱，最起码要1年吧，再怀孕，35岁、36岁生孩子已经算高龄产妇了吧？这是你最快的情况下，对吧？
After hearing the matchmaker's words, Qiu Huamei began to slightly understand her position in the matchmaking market. That evening, she met up with a few girlfriends and began venting her dissatisfaction with the current situation.
那你就是不结婚的话，到了一定年纪不结婚的话，似乎任何人都可以来嘲笑你。不，包括我的姐姐，她会叫着她的小孩叫我光棍姨。
A few days later, another matchmaker matched Qiu Huamei with a seemingly suitable man. Coincidentally, the two of them were from the same city in Shandong, which gave them more to talk about. But when Qiu Huamei asked who would take the lead in the household in the future,
就像你说的，每个山东男生都有这种大男子主义，只是一个一个多少程度的一个东西，一个东西。但是我觉得我在未来的婚姻里边，可能我还是希望我要占主导地位的。
主导，
对。
For Qiu Huamei, who insists on absolute gender equality, this was unacceptable. So, she quickly went to another dating event, looking for the kind of marriage she truly wanted. But perhaps her standards were too high, or maybe she was just too strong-minded. Afterward, none of the people she had gone on dates with contacted her again. Helpless, Qiu Huamei had no choice but to visit what's considered the final destination for leftover women in Beijing, Zhongshan Park. But the moment an auntie there heard that Qiu Huamei worked as a lawyer, she immediately showed disapproval. She joked, "If my son married someone like you and they got divorced later, wouldn't he suffer terribly?" Faced with the current dating reality, Qiu Huamei began to panic. Maybe, as the matchmaker said, she really had no advantage in this market. After the failed dates, Qiu Huamei took time to visit a hospital. She wanted to know the current state of her health. It was clear that Qiu Huamei still had a deep desire to have children. But so far, she hadn't met a man truly worthy of her trust. Yet the doctor's next words struck her again.
我们一般叫大于35岁的，我们就叫高龄的、大龄的，卵子的质量就没那么好了啊，有可能会有一些问题啊，孩子可能会畸形率要比正常的要高5倍左右。
After leaving the hospital, the doctor's words kept echoing in Qiu Huamei's mind. 35 is considered high risk for pregnancy, yet she's already 34 and not even married. What now? Because of this, Qiu Huamei even went to see a therapist, hoping to get help sorting through her internal struggles.
好端端的人生过成这个样子，就是因为不结婚的问题，过着一种很战斗的生活，有逃亡的生活。
After this psychological consultation, Qiu Huamei made a bold decision. To quit her job, leave everything behind, and go study abroad in France alone. Before leaving, she returned to her hometown in Shandong. Unsurprisingly, none of her family supported her idea of studying overseas. But this time, her father stood by her side. Looking at Qiu Huamei, tears in her eyes, her father said this.
我那个想法呢，就是我不说我是好强的人，就说别看我这闺女，我这闺女比你这小子的重用，一定比你这小子们的强。你这给我怎么办？
Before the farewell, her father even set off firecrackers to see her off. He hoped that his daughter would study well in France and live the life she truly desired. On the bus leaving home, Qiu Huamei looked at her family for a long time, until they disappeared behind the winding road. Eventually, Qiu Huamei began her studies in France, and her aura changed too. Hopefully there, she can pursue the freedom she longs for, and live the life she truly wants.
Qiu Huamei's life wasn't lost to the marriage market. It was lost to an entire generation's misunderstanding of what a successful woman should be. She was the only one in her village who got into a top university, the first among her peers to achieve financial independence, and the only one who stayed to work in a major city. She worked hard, lived with discipline, and had clear goals. She became the person countless small-town girls admired. But simply because she didn't get married, her value was completely erased. In the eyes of her relatives, she became the unwanted leftover auntie. In her father's view, she once became the shame he couldn't lift his head for. In the matchmaking market, she was treated as an expired product. The more excellent she was, the more she was told to just hurry up and get married. The more clear-headed she was, the more she was advised don't be too picky. All her effort, accomplishments, and character were wiped out with one sentence. You're 34 and still think you can choose? In a logic of marriage, a woman's education is less important than her looks, her income is less important than her ability to give birth, and age feels like a wall she can never climb over. She didn't refuse marriage, she just refused to settle. She tried to make her own choice in life. But the more firmly she pursued her true self, the more doubt and humiliation she had to endure. Some people always say, women can choose not to marry or have children. But what they never tell you is how heavy the cost of that choice really is. You'll have to endure cold stares, misunderstanding, isolation, and even rejection and ridicule from your own family. Do you know someone like Qiu Huamei? Feel free to leave a comment. I'd really love to hear your thoughts. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. See you in the next video.